Previously, in the anime, Rudy and Sylphie were preparing for their marriage, so they gave a pre-wedding party to their close friends at their new home, but there we saw that Elenalise turns out to be Sylphie's grandmother. Apparently she had to leave her kids when they had become mature enough to eat themselves because of her curse. She had gone through so much that Cliff decided to lift the curse of Elenalise anyhow to make her the happiest woman. For that, Rudy also chose to help Cliff and Elenalise to the best of his abilities. Then after that, as the story continues, Rudy was returning home from the academy when he ran into Postman. He gives the letter that came for Rudy. It was from Paul. Paul says he's happy for Rudy that he chose a path for himself and he's walking down on it, and by now, Rudy must have known from Elenalise that he could save Zenith, for that he was preparing to go to the Brit continent, but he can't take children with him. So Paul decided to send Aisha and Norm to Rudy, for that he chose an escort whom Rudy knew and asked Rudy to take care of his sisters. Aisha is cheerful, but Norm still hates Rudy, so when he got back home, Sylphie was in the kitchen. Sylphie saw Rudy looked happy, so Rudy tells Sylphie that his sisters are coming to stay with them. Sylphie liked it because their home would become much livelier, and Rudy felt blessed for having a family and a girl he loves in this life, so he asked Sylphie over dinner if she wants something. So Sylphie asked Rudy to teach her disturbance spell and in return she would teach him healing magic. So after dinner, both goes outside to learn each other's spell, but Rudy couldn't use healing magic because he never knew how to be on the receiving end. So Sylphie takes her turn to learn nullifying magic, but Rudy asked if their childs would be as good as them in magic, but they could only find out once they are born. But elf blood runs strong in Sylphie, so she's not sure if they could conceive a child. For that Sylphie tells Rudy that he could take a mistress if she couldn't conceive a child, but it's not like Rudy wants children anyhow, he just wants a proof of their love in this world. Then the next day Rudy helped Nanahoshi in finishing the magic circle she spent 2 years completing, but when Rudy channels his mana into it, that circle short circuits from a certain point. This failure made Nanahoshi depressed that her way to return home looked impossible, so Rudy leaves her be and thought of going back home. But just then, Nanahoshi lost herself and started breaking everything in her mental breakdown, so Rudy stopped her and saw she was seriously depressed, so Rudy decided to take her to his house, and there, Zenoba saw them. He carries Nanahoshi to help and took her to the hospital first. Rudy told him what caused Nanahoshi to be this sick, so now Rudy was planning to let Sylphie diagnose her and then taking care of her at his home would be for the best, given her mental conditions. Rudy thought to make some food Nanahoshi likes to make her relax and happy, so when Sylphie diagnosed her, she found Nanahoshi was extremely exhausted, plus she found a knife in her clothes. Rudy got expression change, but he didn't show it to Sylphie and came down to tell this to Zenoba. But Zenoba saw Rudy's face looked like Nanahoshi's, lifeless, so Rudy tells Zenoba about how he had felt powerless and alone once, just like Nanahoshi. And Zenoba said he can't understand but he's always here for him. Seeing that, he goes over to Nanahoshi and tries to cheer her up by offering her favorite potato chips and suggested to take a bath. But none of it worked, she was broken through and through. So Rudy gave up for now. Then Nanahoshi tells Rudy that magic circles are like circuit boards that function by combining many patterns, but no matter how much she tried, there was always one area she couldn't connect. So now she has lost her hope of returning back to Earth, her own world. Rudy felt bad seeing her this broken, so he called out to his gang and showed them the research they were working on. It's a summoning magic, but none of them were experts in this field. Even so Rudy said to look at the bright side, for heads are better than one, which could give them new ideas. There he showed the part at fault and their Cliff started going through his knowledge to find a way. But no luck, so Zenoba suggested to make it a multi-layered circle. He was researching many multi-layered circle in his automated doll, but research has just begun so he can't tell much. So Cliff took a look at the doll himself and was amazed by the creator's knowledge, but he was still baffled by the way it was created and couldn't understand the way it works. So Zenoba tells them the magic circle were combined that makes it move even if it's broken. So Elenalise comfort Cliff as she believes Cliff would find a way eventually. So they got to work and when they found a way, they brought Nanahoshi and showed her their new theory. Nanahoshi looked at it and understood her way of things were wrong. It takes multi-layered circle for success and goes over to complete the circle, but she made a mistake and Cliff came in to correct it. more so he even gives new ideas to her, and with it they started their work on it. Sometimes Cliff and Nanahoshi had opposing opinions. Nonetheless, they worked together all day, and after a good night's rest, they finally completed the circle. Rudy ran his mana through it, and this time they brought a plastic bottle from Earth. It was success at last, and Nanahoshi got her smile back. But she did apologize to Rudy for the trouble she caused, but he tells her to help him just like he did in her need. But their allies came in and asked for a party for their efforts, so Nanahoshi agreed and called their whole friend circle to party. Everyone were happy for Nanahoshi, so she thanked everyone for their help until now. So now everyone unwinds a bit and started enjoying to their heart's content. Their Sylphie got a hangover fast, and Nanahoshi was enjoying this moment. But after the party was over, Rudy returns home with Sylphie and saw Aisha and Norm were waiting for Rudy and were fighting with each other. Aisha was happy to see Rudy, but Norm, not so much. And the person who escorted both of them safely was none other than Rudeus. And that is where episode 15 ends. But in case if you missed previous episodes, I have created a playlist where you could watch all the previous episodes. Playlist link in description. Please watch all of the episodes to understand the storyline. Till then, take care.